Social media has changed modern-day life immensely over the last few decades. Platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat have made it easier to connect with friends and family all over the world. Users are able to share life's precious moments by posting pictures and statuses that appear instantly on their profiles. After doing so, it opens their content for the World Wide Web to see. Now almost all businesses are signed up on Facebook to market their product. Even news outlets share their top headlines on social media. You also have entertainment. This varies from articles, memes, music, and even cat pictures. While most of the content is innocent, most of us know all too well the vulgarities that are found online. People use their social media accounts like diaries, openly sharing thoughts or opinions that might not be approved of in person. Despite the convenience of sharing your lives with those you've connected with, some users have experienced extreme backlash for what they have posted. Political arguments, hate speech, and ignorance also come hand in hand with social media. But be careful of what you post online in the heat of the moment. Certain individuals have had serious backlash for their social media posts that has caused severe consequences in their life. Today on Top Trending, we are going over some social media posts that ruin people's lives. The dangers of texting and driving are known universally. A message received and the driver forfeits their ability to see the road as well as handling their vehicle properly in case of emergency. This can apply to operating any large machinery, including flying. If you've ever flown before, you know that during your flight you have a professional pilot safely flying you to your destination. Or are they? Perhaps the urge to text still surpasses the safety of not only yourself, but the other people on board. Passengers can't see the captain or co-pilot to tell if they are texting. If that were the case, it may have changed how things went down for two airline employees who resigned during suspension before being terminated for their reckless social media usage while flying. The captain, Michel Castellucci, was caught recording videos of the co-pilot while he was doing paperwork on the social media platform Snapchat. The co-pilot smiles and laughs in these videos as a filter with an owl next to him is added. At 30,000 feet into the air, the pilot prioritized his Snap story over the dozens of people he was flying. Other selfies and videos emerged with thousands of views before Mr. Castellucci deleted the posts and his social media accounts. That didn't matter to easyJet. Both captain and co-pilot were immediately put on suspension while the situation was being investigated. Knowing that their careers are now ruined in their field, both individuals resigned before being terminated. Passengers on the flight were in shock when they found out their pilots risked their lives over a funny snap. Some felt that resigning isn't enough and that legal action should be taken. Needless to say, both gentlemen no longer have a career to look forward to now that they are known for texting and flying. Officers are meant to protect and serve. They're who you depend on during times of crisis. Their jobs are to enforce the law and prevent crime. Recently, with the Black Lives Matter movement, many officers are under scrutiny for their decision-making, many feeling as though racism is making a large play in criminal matters. Florida officer Matthew Moriarty learned the hard way that his off-duty snapping would ruin his career as a law enforcement officer. The Daytona Beach Shores Public Safety Department director said they received a complaint about a racist snap posted by the 24-year-old officer. Upon review of the snap, the officer was immediately suspended, shortly followed by termination. The snap was a selfie with stickers of a syringe, cop car, and a gun, where Moriarty used the paint tool to color in black hair and a beard. Under his face, his filter of choice read, "This is how I celebrate Black History Month." Definitely not the best snap to send out while there are activist organizations claiming white cops are racist toward black civilians, and definitely not during Black History Month. The department is taking their time going through each arrest and traffic stop to assure the community that this now ex-officer didn't carry out his duties with the same bias he showed on his Snapchat. From the last update, April 11, 2018, they have found no bias so far, but they are opening a separate internal investigation on him as well. It's safe to say that Matthew Moriarty's career in law enforcement is ruined for the rest of his life. During emergencies, people rely on dispatchers to clearly assess the situation and be able to relay the information to emergency response personnel. Information gathered during these calls can be private or used as evidence during trial if there is criminal activity. Typically, the news is quick to report recent arrests, but lacks specific details crucial to the ongoing investigation. Those who read or watch the news on a regular basis know that some reports on lawbreakers can trigger internal beliefs. Most people turn to social media to express their views or comments on current events in their area. This usually happens after a shocking news report. But this time, Massachusetts State Police dispatcher Carla Grant took the information from her calls straight to her Facebook page. The 19-year-old dispatcher wrote on the Brockton Hub Facebook page regarding an ongoing criminal investigation. Neg op and speeding, not responsible for the crash, which was caused by the decedent, per the dashcam evidence. She wrote, not knowing that this comment would soon ruin her career. The information she posted was not yet public, and would not have been public until a month after her comment during trial. Other posts were found where the dispatcher had leaked information or began degrading people from her dispatch calls. One very disturbing comment was found on the same page, about a pregnant woman who had to be revived by Narcan. She needs to be left to rot, she commented, following a strain of profane insults about the pregnant woman. The department had put her on an unpaid leave as they are compiling all the evidence against her. Police experts say that this behavior will leave her unemployed, unable to find other work, and it's possible she will leave the situation with a criminal record. Firefighters are expected to be able to deal with all types of heated situations, but former American firefighter Lieutenant Bradley Baugh of Springfield, Ohio was fired for sharing a meme that was burning dropouts at McDonald's recently. Early in March, Baugh shared a meme from the Chappelle Show account that said, "Drop out of school and get a job at McDonald's," talking about on my grind. Yeah, okay, grind me up an Oreo McFlurry, yo. Generally, people find memes as funny jokes that are harmless, but for some it sends a mixed message of combining humor with dropping out of school. Baugh's supervisors did not take the situation lightly, and decided to terminate his employment. Baugh made a statement with the local news outlet a few weeks later regarding his unjust termination. He stated that he disagrees with his termination, as he worked there almost a decade without any prior disciplinary action, and that he even earned Firefight of the Year award in 2012. He said he treated all citizens with the same level of care or compassion without consideration of race, ethnic background, or economic status. Thoughtful statement from a man who had his career ruined over a meme. Rachel Burns was employed for 21 years by Park Hall, a residential care home for elderly people and vulnerable adults in Reigate, England. For the last 8 years of her employment, she was in a management position. The dedicated manager implemented a music night every Friday for the clients in the home. They could go and sing, listen to music, and dance. It provided a fun atmosphere for not just the clients, but the staff as well. After one of the music nights, Rachel Burns went to Facebook to share her memories with her friends. It wasn't until 2 months afterward that Burns would learn the consequences of what seemed like an innocent post. The head office said she broke 4 rules: posting a picture of inside the hall, posting a picture and identifying a Down syndrome client that was eager to have his picture taken, and she had also posted a video of the night. Her company gave her 2 days to decide whether she would be dismissed or demoted. With the stress and anxiety of the sudden life-changing decision before her, Burns tried to appeal her punishment with her company. The appeal was refused, as well as more time to make her decision. Sick with stress, Burns was unable to give her response within her 2 days. The day after, she received a letter that informed her of her termination. For 21 years, Rachel Burns gave everything she could to her employer for all of it to fall apart after a Facebook post. Burns is an example to anyone that social media policies are taken very seriously in today's world. Not all posts on social media are delightful. Many posts can be fuel for arguments or nasty comments. Some people know when to stop adding fuel to the fire, whereas there are the select few who take it too far. Matthew Moseley, father of a 14-year-old named Thomas in Lancashire, England, is currently learning his lesson in taking things way out of proportion. Moseley's 14-year-old son and the son of Lee Holt were getting into arguments on social media. In an attempt to restore peace between the two teens, Mr. Holt, his wife, and their son went to the Moseley home. Matthew Moseley opened the door with a semi-automatic shotgun and fired once at Mr. Holt. After shooting Mr. Holt, Matthew Moseley handed the weapon to his son and said, "Tell them you've done it," to his kid. Initially, believing he was protecting the father, the 14-year-old told the police he had done it in self-defense. But as the trial started, the prosecution determined that Matthew Moseley coerced his son wrongfully in trying to take the blame. This conclusion was made after statements were collected and Thomas Moseley admitted it was his father who had the gun. His statement was supported by a conversation recorded in a police van where his father explained he wouldn't get into trouble because he was a minor. Another recorded conversation was brought to light when Matthew Moseley told his wife that he wasn't even aiming, that he picked up the shotgun and it just went bang. Not only did Matthew Moseley murder a man in front of his family, but he also put his own son at risk. Lives of both families have been deeply affected, and will hopefully at some point be able to move on from this horrific event. Las Vegas, Nevada is known across the world for its beautiful casinos and glorious nightlife. If you've ever been, you know why it's called the city that never sleeps. No matter the time of day or night, there is always something to do in Las Vegas. Millions of people vacation and test their luck on the slots or tables. In the beginning of October 2017, there was a country festival being held near the Mandalay Bay Hotel on the Las Vegas Strip. On the last day of the festival, over 22,000 people attended, not realizing that their night of fun would turn into the most traumatic night of their lives. Inside the Mandalay Bay Hotel, there was a shooter who opened fire at the crowd of concert goers. 58 lives were taken that night, as well as over 800 people injured. The Las Vegas shooting in 2017 is the largest mass shooting in the history of the United States of America. It was a heartbreaking time for those involved, and the grief from the tragic event spread across the country. People tend to use these events to push their political events or agendas. In this case, a political opinion being shared on Facebook resulted in CBS firing one of their top executives. Haley Geffman-Gold, who was a vice president and senior legal counsel at CBS in New York, took her opinion straight to Facebook after the shooting. She wrote that she had no hope Republicans, or as she said, repugs, would ever take action and do the right thing if they didn't do anything when children were murdered. Her comment referred to the December 2012 Sandy Hook shooting, where 20 children were murdered inside of their own elementary school in Connecticut, USA. CBS immediately fired Geffman-Gold, saying her actions were deeply unacceptable, before giving their condolences to the families involved. CBS has zero tolerance for unprofessional representation even on social media. Not only did she lose her position, but even a series of death threats and attacks from people online gave Haley Geffman-Gold no choice but to delete all her social media accounts and stay offline after her actions. Hopefully her actions will provide a perfect example of why you should think twice before posting something on social media that could potentially ruin your life, like the people on our list today. Thank you for watching.